going back to the like feature engineering discussion is where I often start with transfer learning, in the sense that, to your point, the PhD factories were generating all of these, like, here's a really important feature set for this data set, right? And I think one of the things that gets lost there is
really quick though, when we say feature set, like what does that mean for you?
No, imagine like really simple case. Like imagine you were trying to predict, heart failure in a set of patients, and you had a bunch of data points, like how tall they are, where do they live. Feature engineering is coming up with, like, if I balance these 4 data points with just the right amount of weight, that's the perfect like composite piece of data to make that decision. So deep learning would say, just give me all the data and I'll figure out which transformations you should make on it. But feature engineering, the human actually dials the weights and figures out what's important.
If you had height and weight, you could calculate BMI, which might be an impactful feature. In reality, it's not that impactful. But, it's an imperfect measure. But
feature engineers are the people coming up with those like hybrids.
So they're basically saying, like, you have all these different data points, right? But like, here are the 4 that are most like meaningful or impactful for the problem you're trying to solve. So we're going to like isolate to those.
That's actually not that's sort of what the ML does after the fact. Really what the expert is doing is, a feature set is a list of numbers. That's all it is. It's a list of numbers, and the numbers are made up by some schmuck, right? That schmuck often has a lot of letters after their name. Or they're more often trying to get more letters after their name. But that is really what they are. It's important to recognize, like, it is a made up set of numbers, right? And they range from the extremely ordinary and banal, like height and weight, to the extraordinarily arbitrary that just this guy decided was useful, like the relative length of your ring pinky toe and the bridge of your nose, right? But it's important, like it's sort of a joke, but that is really the kind of spectrum that you see. And I think it's one of the reasons that feature engineering is actually really, really problematic in practice, is because if you pick that feature specifically enough, like, you'll get random signal, right? And like in some random place, it is going to be useful, right? And that's where you run into those, like, the really big peak in research at 0.95 confidence, right? And things like that. But that is the thing, is that they're really manually constructed. Some of them are basic and like unobjectionable, and some of them are just combinations of those, and then some of those are just like totally bizarre, out there, and like there's probably some story about why they believe that ratio is really important. But